because football come first, and all of a sudden it wasn't.
Okay, David. Big smile.
It definitely didn't change me.
Well, it changed. There's no doubt about that.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the brand new 4-part documentary on Netflix titled Beckham. It is directed by the renowned director Fisher Stevens, and obviously it is a documentary that focuses on the life and career of David Beckham. Now, I understand that for a lot of people, Beckham is a polarising figure, especially for non-Man United fans. I've been teasing people at work and teasing my friends who are not Man United fans, basically saying to them, are you going to be watching that new Beckham documentary on Netflix? And they all give me that look, like they'd rather, you know, staple their eyes shut or whatever, they'd do anything than watch this. And I think that is, if you like, something that Beckham has carried his whole career. A lot of people see Beckham as that polarising figure in a sense that he was, in some people's eyes, far more interested in the spotlight than his football career. And I have to say, me personally, I am a Manchester United fan. So I like David Beckham, obviously, and I respect him as a footballer. And there was one season in particular where I think Beckham was completely world class and arguably the best player in the world, and that's the season we won the treble. He was amazing, especially when you consider that was the season after he got absolutely mauled by the British public and the press for getting sent off during the World Cup, 98 World Cup. But this documentary, in actual fact, just doesn't pull any punches. It's very, very honest. It's very grounded. And they interview an awful lot of people in Beckham's life. I was really quite impressed with how many people they actually interviewed here. You've got Sir Alex Ferguson. Obviously, you've got his wife, Victoria. Then you've got Gary Neville, Roy Keane. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And his Real Madrid teammates, Figo, people like that, Roberto Carlos, his former managers, Fabio Capello, obviously Sir Alex Ferguson, as I've mentioned, Gary Neville, Phil Neville. I mean, it really does. It's like a who's who in Beckham's life, really. And I thought the documentary did a brilliant job of giving different perspectives on David Beckham and his life. And they were all very, very honest. Some documentaries that you watch, especially when it's very, very famous people, like the Harry and Meghan one, for example, that I watched on Netflix when that came out. I thought that was so appalling, I couldn't even be asked to do a review for it. Because I just thought it was just so, look how wonderful we are, and please, please show us lots of sympathy. This was not like that at all. And I would urge anybody who's watching this, who is not A, a fan of David Beckham, or B, a fan of Man United, to watch this. You may come out of this documentary with a different opinion of David Beckham. Because he came across, I think, and my wife agreed because we watched it together, and she's not a big Man United fan at all. In fact, she doesn't support football. I mean, she knows I support Man United, so there's that. But, you know, she is not a football fan. She was interested to learn more about Beckham and his life. And she agreed with me that he came off really, really well in this video. He came off just like a normal guy. Obviously, he's incredibly famous and incredibly rich. We know that. But he didn't come across as conceited or anything like that. Completely the opposite. Now, obviously, I know a little bit about David Beckham being a Man United fan. I know about his career at Man United, and I followed his career a little bit after he left Man United, of course, with interest. And I was, even as a Man United fan, at the height of his fame while he played for Manchester United, I used to think, oh, Beckham, just focus on your football. And that was what we was fed, if you like, by the press. The fact that he was, if you like, the new George Best in many, many ways. You know, and the press destroyed him, really, didn't they? I know he was pretty self-destructive too, George Best. But this is almost like the George Best story, but with a success at the end of it. Because one thing I took away from this documentary was, whenever times got tough, he just didn't give up. And there were many, many times in his career where he could have done. especially after the World Cup sending off. You could see him as he was being interviewed a number of times in this documentary, getting emotional and filling up at some of the things that's happened to him in his life, some of the things that have been said to him about him and his career and his family. You could see it still stung and it still hurts. But he absolutely, and it was very, very strong in the documentary. You could see that he just doesn't give up. And he never has, sort of thing. And he went from being like the most hated man and footballer in the UK to its saviour, you know, when he became England captain and he scored that goal against Greece. It goes to show how fickle, you know, the UK public are, certainly, and how easily they forget how appalling they behave towards him. There still is an awful lot of people, I think, that would have an awful lot to say about Beckham and not a lot of it positive. But he really did come across very, very well in this, as did his wife, Victoria, because she was extensively interviewed as well. And I think this was filmed over a 2.5-year period. And it's right up to date as well, because it kind of finishes with him signing Messi for his Miami football team, if you like, Inter Miami, is it called. So it's right up to date. It's followed him right from a young boy, first signing for United and meeting Alex Ferguson, right up until now, basically, when he ended his football career, when he retired from his football career, how emotional that was. The whole boot incident at Old Trafford when Sir Alex Ferguson kicked a boot at his head. I have to say, I thought this was one of the most informative and well-made Netflix documentaries that I have watched. And, you know, I have watched quite a few on Netflix. Quite a lot of them I don't do reviews for. Some of the true crime ones especially, I watch a lot of them with my wife, but I don't kind of review them because some of them are quite old now. But if it's a new one and like this that comes out, I will make a point of watching it and maybe do a review on it, because I think this is obviously going to be a popular thing to watch, certainly on Netflix. And I suspect there's going to be a lot of people watching this that like to pretend or tell everybody that they can't stand David Beckham, but they're still fascinated about his life. Yeah, I do actually strongly recommend this. I thought it was superbly made. I expect nothing less from Fisher Stevens. He got everybody to open up. He got everybody to be honest. In my opinion, there was only one section that I felt was slightly glossed over, and you never really got a definitive answer, was when he was accused of being unfaithful. When he first moved to Real Madrid and he was on his own and, you know, his family couldn't come over, there were stories coming out that he'd been unfaithful to his wife. And even though they touch on it in this documentary, you don't get a definitive whether he did or not. I certainly didn't get that impression, even though people's reactions kind of suggested that it was. So it's a testament really to them and maybe their love for each other that their marriage continued. I don't know, it's their life, innit? But yeah, check this one out, guys. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty entertaining. 4 good episodes that covered literally the beginning to the end of his football career and literally where he is right now in his career as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed checking out this review. I will, of course, be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.